Goodness gracious, Auburn needed that one. They blast Kansas State in Arlington.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Lindsay, Crosby of the Barn Auburn, as well as a million other places. We're recapping Auburn's 5-1 win over Kansas State, Auburn's first game in Arlington, Lindsay. And we listed it out, with the weeks leading up to the season, the last few games, recapping, saying, hey, this weekend is so important for Auburn's non-conference before SEC play gets going. They struggled Tuesday, got blasted by Cincinnati. They bounced back and probably won their toughest draw going into the weekend.
Yeah, Kansas State, unlike a lot of the other teams in this tournament, have been tested by in their schedule so far, and they've passed with flying colors. Like, coming into this game, Kansas State wasn't playing directional Florida Hair Care and Tire Center, right? Like, they were playing actual schools. They took down Iowa, they took down UConn, they took down Penn State, they took down Air Force, so apparently they just are not patriotic.
Correct.
But and they run ruled Penn State in that whole thing, but they get taken down by Auburn. I was talking to Brad Law, earlier today. We talked about this was the game that Auburn had to win from the weekend because it sets you up so well for games 2 and 3. And there's a lot about this, the way that this game unfolded, that should give Auburn fans a lot of hope for Saturday and for Sunday. And I know we'll get to that.
Yeah. As far as the stories of this game that pertain to this game, I mean, what Auburn is getting from their guy, their Friday night starter, Marciano. We've only seen him twice, a transfer, but oh my goodness, Lindsay, every inning, like, even if he gives up 1 or 2 hits, it's just like he seems so calm, cool, and in control of every pitch.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be good in a weekend starter. I didn't think he was going to do this. Just going to be completely honest. Now, across his 2 games, he's thrown 11 innings with no walks and 20 strikeouts.
Love it.
Allowing 4 hits and 1 run. He got the win today. And the big thing for me, he's not your typical sinker slider guy. Usually when you see a guy who he's throwing a horizontally moving sinker, he's throwing a slider, his whole thing is, I'm going to drop this ball below your bat. You're going to get ground balls. My defense is going to hoover him up, and we're just going to get through these innings. We're going to blow through this.
Yeah.
He's punching tickets. He got, he had 11 whiffs. So just 11 swings and misses, which is not a ton, but 35 swings, 31%, you'll take that. That's better than an MLB number. And called strikes plus whiffs, he was at like 36%. I really like how he adjusted throughout the game. The thing that I noticed was he was more sinker heavy the first time through the order. And then he shifted to be a little more slider heavy and change up the second time through. Like, he's understanding when he goes in, here's what I did last time. I got to do something different. And credit to Chase Fralick too, because they're calling these pitches live. But he's understanding how to set these guys up. Here's how I got them last time. Let's change it up and do it again. And from the pitching side, you love Whalen's able to get you multiple innings and Brewer gets you out of the whole thing. But Marciano, absolutely the star of the pitching side tonight, and looks at least to be a guy that you can build around as you get to conference play. His average fastball was 91 miles an hour, which isn't amazing, but good enough. 3 hard hit balls in the entire night, which you'll take that.
Yeah. We'll get to the offense in a second because we have to talk about Bristol Carter, but let's stay on pitching just for a moment. So it seems like, and we probably walked away from last Friday, the opener against Youngstown State. We probably walked away with this assumption, but I think seeing this now in this game solidifies that. But they want to go Marciano, Waylon, Brewer, I think, on Fridays, or at least the first game of these weekend series. And I mean, we're 2 for 2 so far. I like that setup so far. Small sample size. We'll see if they adjust it and, what happens when a guy gets hit out a little bit early. But so far, I like the stack of Jake Marciano, Drew Waylon, and Garrett Brewer as kind of that 1, 2, 3 punch to get you through the first game of these weekend series.
Yeah, I mean, being able to only throw 3 guys, and really, when it became not a save situation, right? You had a 4-run lead going into the 9th. I would have liked to have seen Drew Waylon at least get the opportunity to go back out. But I'm assuming what happened is because it was only a 3-run lead, they were already warming Garrett Brewer up. And in that case, go ahead and put him in the game. Like you said, we saw it worked last week. Let's do it again. It works again tonight. I think the big thing for me is they all kind of do different things as far as when you go from Marciano to Waylon. Yes, Waylon throws a sinker and a slider as well, but he was mostly sinker, curveball, cutter tonight. So he was changing up what he did. He has the slider. He has a changeup. He threw a 4-seamer as well. I love dudes to throw all 3 fastballs. That's kind of my thing there. But he's doing that. And then you go to Brewer, and he was heavy sinker with a changeup, just another different look. And Everett Tieford kind of has these guys. The reason they stack these guys up like this is they all kind of do similar things, but they do them in different ways. And so you get the benefit of, hey, this stuff works against an opposing team because you saw Marciano do it, and then you saw Waylon do it. But the opposing team doesn't have the benefit of seeing it out of that arm slot at those velocities in that sequence. So I like how they set this up. I'm fine with keeping this for a while. I do wonder, you were stretching Waylon out to be a potential starter and a 60 or 70 pitch guy. If you keep doing him for 2 innings here, 3 innings there, do you have the ability to throw him into a start if you need him to in 2 or 3 weeks? I'm assuming you probably do. I'm just kind of curious about how much he can stay stretched out if he's doing 2 innings at a time.
Yeah. That's a reasonable question to ask. All right, let's pivot to the offense in just a moment. We saw the bats return. Lindsay, you think there's a chance we should have seen a little bit more? We'll explain what we mean by that in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, cotton candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors already, and I've got my number 1 pick for the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft. Lindsay, if you watch this show, if you follow this show, we love grape. The grape flavor of 5 Hour Energy is my go-to when you need that afternoon pick-me-up. I should have taken one before this game. I'm not going to lie to you. It's probably too late now.
Dragging a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Hey, tomorrow, Auburn, a 3.5-point favorite, hosting the Kentucky Wildcats. Despite how Auburn fans feel about it, Vegas still believes in the Auburn Tigers. We'll see what happens there. You also, on FanDuel, can bet on Auburn's odds to make the NCAA tournament. Them making it is a slight favorite at -128 versus +100. So take that for what it's worth. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you can get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. The Auburn Tigers taking down Kansas State 5-1. We saw the bats get going, kind of happen in spurts, Lindsay, and they got a few early, which I think kind of set the tone, which they really, really need. I thought that was important.
Yeah.
Bristol Carter, 3 runs on the day. Bub Terrell, I think, he had a few moments there with multiple hits. Guevara had multiple hits. Ethan Bingaman had multiple hits. And then Brandon McCrane, which you made the comment while we were watching this together, like, hey, McCrane's making it where you got to really consider playing him more. But I think we got to start with Bristol Carter here.
Yeah, going 1 for 3, but he draws 2 walks. He gets on. He steals 2 bags, scores 3 times. When you lost Chris Rimbert, right, you lost the best on-base guy on the team. But finding the silver lining here, putting Bristol Carter into that leadoff spot. I think it was the second of the stolen bases. He gets 3 or 4 steps before the pitch is released. I mean, it's a walking lead. He is gone. They made it close. Credit to Kansas State. And then he scores from second on a play that I don't know what the second baseman was thinking throwing to third. They ended up getting Bub at second, but the ability to the speed, his ability to lay down a bunt. I'm not a big proponent of bunting. There are situations where it makes sense, especially in college. He has the speed, the athleticism. He can take advantage if they make a mistake, which we saw when he scored from second.
Yeah,
I like having him up there. It's a different dynamic. And honestly, if he continues playing like this, you may need, when Chris Rimbert comes back, he may need to be behind Bristol Carter. You may need to keep Carter leading off simply because of all of those things I just mentioned. He's so dynamic. It gives you an extra dimension on the base paths. And you could see Kansas State get a little bit tight about it. The good news, slight preview for tomorrow, Florida State's defense in the infield is probably worse than Kansas State's was. So another situation where you get some guys on, you string some hits. They have a couple errors, unforced errors that they cause on themselves and give you a chance to rack up some runs. But I like the Bub, Guevara, Fralick kind of stack there, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I think that works really well. I am curious if the program tries somebody else tomorrow. If we maybe change the alignment a little bit, if they decide maybe to give Todd Clay a day off. He's 0 for 4. He strikes out 4 times tonight, Golden Sombrero. He's 0 for 12 with 7 strikeouts on the season. I don't know if they're going to have him play third, play first, or let Guevara play third. The TV
broadcast kept showing his mom. I'm like,
that was the worst part. His mom's there.
And he'll bring his mother into this. She's just there supporting her kid. You could tell she looks stressed. Like, what do y'all get the camera out of her face?
Yeah. But big shout out to the guys at the bottom of the order. Ethan Bingaman, Cade, Brandon McCrane. They combined for 5 hits and a run, drew a walk, had a sacrifice, kind of doing their job, right? And with the offense being the way that it has, and I have a great stat on this, by the way. I think you need the guys at the bottom of the order to kind of do their part. I talked to somebody, who had access to the program's internal production numbers today. And if you look at the 3 losses that
what
Auburn
a subtle flex by you. We all caught it.
If you look at the 3 losses, plus you can see what they did tonight as well. In the 3 losses, Auburn's expected stats versus what they actually had.
In the 3 losses, you don't mean to say that, do you?
I'm sorry. Not 3 losses. I'm sorry. The 3 low-scoring games. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, sure.
Cincinnati and then games 1 and 2 versus Youngstown State. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. Making sure everybody understands. Yep.
Thank you. Their actual production versus the expected production, which is you take the ball, how hard it was hit, the direction and everything. What's the usual batting average on that play versus what you got? And it ended up being Auburn's been one of the, I'm going to say, unluckiest teams in the country when it comes to hitting the ball hard and them not dropping for hits. And tonight, you saw that. There was, in this game, and shout out to the connection that I had with MLB, who sent me the StatCast data, gave me the StatCast link for this game, the dashboard. 19 hard hit balls, 11 of them were Auburn players. 2 of them fell for hits. They were just putting great swings on the ball, and these things were not falling for hits, right? The standard distribution, a hard hit ball was typically going to have about an average of around 500. Auburn had 2 hits and 11 hard hit balls tonight. So an example, the process is sound, right? They're getting good swings on the ball. They're getting good quality batted ball contact, but it's not yet. They're not falling for hits. And you saw the team adjust today, doing more small ball, trying some bunts, some sacrifices and things like that to manufacture the runs around that. So be confident in the offense. It can still come around.
Just quick note. Auburnator, I've made you a mod in the chat if you need to ban anyone. I see some stuff going on over there. Looks like
I already got somebody while we were talking, but
yeah, Auburnator, if you should be able to do that now if you need to. As far as tomorrow, Lindsay, what are you expecting from the mound? How many innings do you want to see? And then, I mean, you've kind of hinted that FSU is gettable as far as Auburn should be able to get some runs going. What are your expectations for tomorrow?
I think the first thing is you really got a big break on Florida State. Their Saturday starter was supposed to be Trey Beard. He's a transfer in from FAU. If you remember game 1 against Youngstown State, Auburn really struggled against that senior lefty with a big curveball. Trey Beard is a senior lefty with a big curveball. So he's sick. He's probably not going to play this week, and you got to caught a break there. But it's going to be kind of more, it's going to be more of we're going to piggyback these two guys, and the goal is to get through a good portion of the game again. I expect it to look similar to how it looked last week. This would be game 1 on Saturday, if I have this right. Just trying to make sure I keep the days right, how I do that. Yeah, because, sorry, it's just, when you have a doubleheader one day,
last week doesn't help with it either, for sure.
No, because you called it games 1 and game 2, but they were really games 2 and 3 in the series. Right. Yeah. So Jackson Sanders will get the start. Jet Johnston is probably going to come in behind him in relief. You used one of your 2 closers tonight. You used Garrett Brewer tonight, which means Ryan Hetzler should be available tomorrow.
Did you like that decision, by the way? I think there would have been advantages to keeping Waylon in and holding him, right?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. I would have liked to have seen Drew Waylon have a chance to get the 3-inning save, but I understand if you already had Brewer up and warm, go ahead and put him in the game. I mean, it's just if you warm him up and then you don't throw him, it's a waste, right? You're probably not going to bring him back tomorrow anyway, so he's up. Go ahead and throw him. I would have liked if Waylon could have not allowed that unearned run, which was a throw-in error, I think by Guevara at short, which another reason why you probably should play Farber at short and Guevara at third. But if that wouldn't have happened and the lead had always been 4 runs, you're probably not getting Garrett Brewer up at all, and you're probably letting Waylon take that 9th inning. But yeah, you're going to see something here. They're going to go probably Sanders, Johnston, Hetzler in a ideal scenario. Game situation could dictate that.
Right.
And then Florida State, they're 4-0. Again, they've not really played great teams, but I feel like this team is gettable. Offensively, they've hit a couple home runs, but not many. I want to say stolen bases, they have like 4 as a team on 5 attempts in 3 or 4 games. Like, this is a gettable Florida State team. I think winning tonight was the big thing you needed. Louisville is the team that was closest to you coming in. Florida State's the kind of, not a fraud, but Florida State's a little, maybe not as good as their 4-0 record. So I feel good
from the outside looking in. I mean, I think you can look and see what Auburn has done until tonight. I think you could have looked at it and saying, like, Auburn's ranking might have been a little suspect too. I think we certainly feel better about it after tonight, for sure.
After handling Kansas State,
just want to remember or remind you and everyone to remember, I picked 3-0 this weekend. We got 2 more games to go.
I picked 2-1. I picked 2-1 because I never want to bet on the sweep
at this point. I would be fine with either. Programming note, we will not do anything baseball live tomorrow because it would drop like right as basketball stuff was heating up. So we won't do any baseball stuff tomorrow. Lindsay and I will go live after the Sunday series finale for Auburn. So
after
church, around 1:30ish or so, that game should end. So we'll go live for that. We will go live for Auburn basketball tomorrow after Kentucky. So Lindsay, any kind of final thoughts on this one as Auburn took it to K-State?
Really good rebound. Just, I mean, after the way that the Cincinnati game went, going, you getting beat 8-0 and having no real offense to speak of, getting that run in the first inning on 3 consecutive hits was a big deal. And so, after that, you wish you'd have gotten more, but after that, you could tell that the team rebounded well enough, and you don't really have to be worried about that going forward.
Yep, absolutely. Lindsay, Crosby, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
I'm on social media at Crosby Baseball, the Auburn baseball content, obviously here, thebarnauburn.com, the Barn Baseball Show, and also Atlanta Braves content, bravestoday.com. Substack just named it a best-selling newsletter today.
Saw that. Congrats. That's incredible.
Hey, it was so cool. I was excited about that.
It's incredible. Please like the video. Please subscribe, and we will see you several other times throughout this weekend right here on Locked On Auburn.